Point of order. I recognize the member.
I seek unanimous consent to put forward a motion without notice to split Bill 174.
Agreed. Is there the member seeking unanimous consent? I hear a no. Further debate? Further debate. I recognize the member from Lanark. Frontenac. Continue, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Speaker. And I'll be sharing my time with the member from Kitchener-Conestoga this morning and the member from Kawartha, Halliburton, Brock. Speaker, never before have we seen so few people, the Premier and her Cabinet, attempt to subvert and destroy our democracy that benefits so many people. Speaker, Bill 174 began debate a week ago in this House. It's an omnibus bill that has substantial and significant unrelated public policy provisions in that bill. It has the creation of a new cannabis retail corporation. It has the framework to complement the federal legislation to permit legalized recreational cannabis use. It also has a schedule that for the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, which will have significant ramifications on tobacco harm reduction, and it also has a schedule for school bus safety and other unrelated Highway Traffic Act amendments that have nothing to do with cannabis. Nothing. Nothing at all do these very disparate subjects have. They have no. It is unwarranted for them to be in the same piece of legislation, and it is unprecedented that a government in a Western democracy, in a country that is held to the highest regard around the world, is acting like a tin pot authoritarian. And we have seen so often, Speaker, that this government has taken a path that we have never seen the likes of before in this country. A 30-minute time allocation debate on a very substantial labour legislation, Bill 148. They've limited debate at third reading to 30 minutes between the three parties on that one.
Shame on you guys.
Now we see them coming in with an omnibus bill and time allocation. A week after we began debate in this House, a week after that very first day, I tabled a motion in this House to split Bill 174. And I'll read the motion, Speaker, that we didn't get unanimous consent on earlier by the Liberal members. That in the opinion of this House, the government should separate Bill 174, the Cannabis, Smoke-Free Ontario and Road Safety Statute Law Amendment Act, and reintroduce the legislation as three distinctive pieces of legislation as follows: the Cannabis Act 2017, the Ontario Cannabis Retail Corporation Act, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, and amendments to the Highway Traffic Act. That's a proper way of doing legislation in a proper democracy, bundling these things up into an omnibus bill and then having the gall to bring in a time allocation motion a week after the introduction. I don't think I have to tell anybody in this House, Speaker, anybody in this House, that legalizing recreational cannabis and creating a cannabis retail corporation, these are new steps in our country. These are transformational steps, Speaker. They require the robustness of a full debate to safeguard the public interest when we are taking on such substantial new transformational policies. 6.5 hours of debate, and the government brings in a time allocation motion.
Shame on you guys.
It is offensive. It offends the very purpose of this House. It offends every member who ever sat in this House, it offends democracy when this government thinks that the safeguards of debate are unimportant and that they can dismiss at will. Speaker, the time allocation motion also diminishes and only permits, by my count, up to 28 individuals in Ontario to make a presentation to the Standing Committee after this motion gets passed. 28 people will be permitted to express themselves for 5 minutes each at this Standing Committee. Do you not believe that a bill of this nature ought to have a number of different perspectives brought to our attention, to have those perspectives examined, to have them analyzed, to have them investigated, so that we can develop good policy? Speaker, I find the very notion that this government believed that it was warranted to bring in a time allocation, I just find it, that is something that we would see from an authoritarian government. This is not something that we would ever expect to see in our country. There's a reason, our country ranks highest in the world. It didn't get to that ranking because of authoritarian steps by majority governments. It got there through robust public discussion and debate and a respect for our parliamentary and representative democracy. These guys, and the member from Northumberland is certainly one that should be talked about as he's facing actions from the falsehoods that he put forward about his constituents. Another authoritarian type of action.
Order.
Speaker, I said last week that the actions of this government were bordering on the criminal. I was wrong. They are acting as criminals.
I would ask the member to withdraw.
I cannot withdraw the fact that this government is acting as criminal.
I am proud of him. At least he stands up for people unlike you.
Order, please. Order.
Split the bill.
Again, I'll ask the member to withdraw.
I apologize for having to use that sort of language of this government.
Order, please. Order.
Split the bill.
Order. All I'm asking is that you either withdraw, or if you don't withdraw, then you know the consequences of that. So again, I'll ask the member, because what you said was unparliamentary. So again, I ask the member, for that one comment, will you withdraw?
This government ought to withdraw.
I take that as a lack of withdrawal. Therefore, the member from Lanark, Frontenac, Addington, and Lennox is named. Order, please. All right, I don't need any commentary from the government side. Further debate.